In the fall of 1982, a series of horrifying deaths shook the nation, unleashing panic and fear as an unknown assailant poisoned over-the-counter medication. The Chicago Tylenol murders became a chilling and unsolved true crime mystery that forever changed the landscape of product safety and public trust. This video delves into the events surrounding the Chicago Tylenol murders, the subsequent investigation, and the lasting impact on the pharmaceutical industry and consumer safety. In September 1982, the lives of 7 unsuspecting individuals were tragically cut short after consuming extra-strength Tylenol capsules laced with cyanide. The victims ranged from the age of 12 to 35, and the method of tampering was as insidious as it was effective. The shocking nature of these deaths sent shockwaves through Chicago and the entire nation, prompting an urgent investigation into the source of the contamination. As news of the deaths spread, investigators discovered that the perpetrator had tampered with the over-the-counter medication after it had reached store shelves. The Tylenol capsules were laced with lethal doses of cyanide, posing a grave threat to anyone who unsuspectingly ingested the tainted medication. The notion of a faceless killer contaminating widely trusted products struck fear into the hearts of consumers nationwide. In response to the crisis, Johnson & Johnson, the manufacturer of Tylenol, initiated an immediate and unprecedented recall of 31 million bottles of the painkiller, costing the company an estimated $100 million. The move was not only a crucial step in preventing further casualties but also a landmark moment in corporate responsibility and crisis management. However, the recall and the subsequent panic raised critical questions about the safety of over-the-counter medications and the vulnerability of consumer products. The multifaceted investigation into the Chicago Tylenol murders proved to be one of the most extensive and challenging in United States history. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and local police, worked tirelessly to identify the perpetrator and understand the motive behind the heinous acts. However, the lack of evidence and the complexity of the case hindered progress. In the wake of the Tylenol murders, copycat incidents emerged, further amplifying public fear and paranoia. Tampered products, ranging from over-the-counter medications to household items, were reported across the country. Although many of these incidents turned out to be hoaxes or false alarms, the wave of copycat fear underscored the vulnerability of consumer trust and the need for stringent safety measures. Despite exhaustive efforts, law enforcement struggled to identify a clear suspect in the Chicago Tylenol murders. Various theories were explored, including the possibility of a lone individual seeking notoriety or a calculated act of domestic terrorism. The lack of a discernible motive and the absence of a clear suspect added layers of complexity to an already perplexing case. In the aftermath of the Tylenol murders, significant legal reforms were enacted to address product tampering and ensure consumer safety. The United States Congress passed the Federal Anti-Tampering Act, making it a federal offense to tamper with consumer products, and manufacturers began implementing tamper-evident packaging to rebuild consumer confidence. The pharmaceutical industry, in particular, underwent substantial changes in packaging and safety regulations. The Chicago Tylenol murders left an indelible mark on the nation, forever altering the way consumers perceive product safety. The incident prompted a paradigm shift in the pharmaceutical industry, leading to increased regulations, tamper-proof packaging, and heightened awareness of potential threats. The legacy of the Tylenol murders serves as a stark reminder of the importance of corporate responsibility, crisis management, and the fragility of public trust. Despite the extensive investigations and legal reforms, the Chicago Tylenol murders remain unsolved to this day. The lack of conclusive evidence and the passage of time have shrouded the case in mystery, leaving lingering questions about the identity and motive of the perpetrator. The unknown assailant, who forever changed the course of consumer safety, remains at large, and the Tylenol murders stand as a haunting testament to the limits of justice. The Chicago Tylenol murders stand as a dark chapter in the history of true crime and product safety. The lives lost in 1982 serve as a haunting reminder of the potential dangers that can lurk within seemingly ordinary consumer products. The enduring impact of this tragedy has resonated through legal reforms, industry changes, and the collective consciousness of a nation that was forced to confront the sinister reality of product tampering. The shadows of terror cast by the Chicago Tylenol murders continue to influence how we approach and ensure the safety of the products we trust.